Parenting without worries. Is it a thing? In a word, no. But can anything be done to help? Let's get into it.
It's time to get recharged, people.
Parenting is one big worry fest. It's all we do. We just worry like crazy. Did this happen? Did this happen? Is this gonna happen? Sometimes it feels like all we do is worry. But you know what? It comes from a good place. It's because we love them so much. It's our most important job to be their parent. And they're the most important things in the entire universe to us. No wonder why we worry about everything all the time. Parents everywhere worry. I think the majority of parents probably do. You ever have somebody tell you, hey, don't worry about it? Does that really fix your problem? I know for me, that doesn't really help much. We're talking about our children in this case. It's pretty important, and it's kind of understandable that we worry. I think the thing we need to focus on is how we manage our emotions, how we manage the amount of worrying that we do. And that's what I want to get into here. Is there something that we can do to help us manage our emotions and the amount of worry and guilt? I think there's probably a couple things. Let me give you one in particular. Let's start with a brain dump. So here's how this works. You just get a piece of paper and a pen or a notebook, and you take a couple minutes and just dump everything that's in your head on paper as far as what you're worried about when it comes to your kids. As a side note, this is what's going to be tricky. You're going to want to put in other things like bills are really stressing me out. I'm worried about that. My heating air conditioning unit might go down soon. I'm worried about that. Will I have enough time to mow the yard this week? All of those things are reasonable to worry about. However, this particular brain dump is just for your children. I did this for myself, for my own kids. I spent 2 minutes right before I started recording this, and I'll share with you what I have. Again, this is all related to our children. Not me, not my wife, not anything else, just specific to the needs of our children or things that I'm worried about with our kids. Here we go. Managing type 1 diabetes, hearing impairment, anxiety, relationships with their friends, bullying at school, grades, schoolwork in general, homework, getting everyone to their activities, organizing meals for the week, packing lunches. Did I remember to put in an apple? Do we have enough food for everybody? There's never enough food. How are their social skills working with other kids? Is everybody in the house communicating well? How much technology use are we allowing? Meaning gaming, on their iPhones, whatever. Are our parenting strategies effective? Meaning, are we reinforcing enough? Are we praising them enough? Are we building them up? And are we holding manageable parameters and giving discipline when it's needed? And last but not least, making sure we track the sites that they're on when they're having any kind of screen time. That's our list. Not your list, that's our list. But you have your own. So take 2 minutes and dump it down on a sheet. But here's the thing, that's not going to cure your problems. Now what you have to do is take a look at your paper, look at your items that you have listed, and now think in terms of what are the most important. In our case, when I looked at our list, the things that were at the top were also the things that popped off my head right from the jump. Helping my kids with the specific needs that they have. As I said, type 1 diabetes, working through a hearing impairment, a generalized anxiety disorder. Those are top of my list. But also in that list, I would probably include bullying at school. Then I need to look at what's the next tier down. It doesn't mean that it's not worth worrying about. It means what are the next things that I would categorize below my ultra important things to worry about. For me, that next tier would probably be monitoring their schoolwork and homework and also keeping track of all their technology use. Which brings me to the next tier down. Again, it's not that you shouldn't worry about this tier, it's that in the level of importance, it's not as high. And in that next tier, what I had was things like organizing their meals, making sure we're packing school lunches, those kinds of things. So now what? I've brain dumped, and now I've kind of categorized all these different things. What do I do now? You take a look and figure out how you can help yourself to maybe alleviate some of the worrying that you're doing. You can't take away the worries in your life, especially when it comes to your children. But because you've put them in categories, maybe now you can devise yourself a little bit better plan. I know that the things in my last category, I think I can probably improve those and worry quite a bit less about those as long as I tighten up how I approach things organizationally. For example, getting our kids to the activities and making sure I'm on top of that, I could do a better job with that just by making sure that I'm paying more attention to the calendar that we have set up. So some of the things in that last category that are not huge worries, you can clean up with some more organizational kinds of things. And it might also be the case for some of the other categories as well. So once you've categorized everything, you can kind of figure out some plans for yourself. So I'm aware that this is not going to solve all your problems. It's not going to make all of your worrying go away completely. That's not possible. However, I think what this can do, brain dump, categorize, and then you can strategically try to figure out how to organize things and take some of the worry away. Not all of it, but maybe some of it, because you can get yourself more organized and that will help you. The last thing I will tell you is probably the most important. Give yourself grace. Parenting is hard. Parenting is really hard. And as long as you're trying your best, give yourself a pat on the back and know that you're just trying to do the best you can and give yourself plenty of forgiveness along the way.